Hello, my name is Jason Shank, and I'm going to go over my research paper for seminar in late medieval studies. I was looking at the Fourth Crusade and whether the diversion of the Fourth Crusade, what the purpose of it was, the cause, who were the key contributors to it. The historiography of the situation largely goes in a couple different categories. There's an east-west controversy saying that it was just a continuation of a battle between the Roman Empire and the Byzantine Empire, or between maybe Latin and Greeks. Another school of thought is inside the Crusade versus outside the Crusade. So the inside Crusade looks at the individuals in the Crusade, the actual events that happened, basically taking an approach that those are the key factors that you have to look at when determining why the Crusade diverted from its original destination of Egypt and Jerusalem. And finally, there's a series of accidents. This theory, brought on by Donald Queller, says that basically just events took place out of the control of the church or the Crusaders that caused them to make those decisions. The background of the situation, 1198, Pope Innocent III, upon hearing the news that the Third Crusade with Richard and Philip had failed, started making a call for another crusade, which really started to take shape in 1200. Basically, a lot of generally Frankish individuals and barons, knights, took up the call. Although there's many from around Europe as well. Basically, what happened was they looked for a place to provide them transport to the Holy Land. The only option that they had ended up being Venice. And the Venetians agreed to host a large number of individuals for the Crusader army to set sail and land them near Alexandria in Egypt. When the Crusaders actually arrived in Venice, they were far fewer in number than expected. By about they're about a third of what the total expectation was, and the problem was based on that they didn't have enough money to fulfill the contract with the Venetians. So the Venetians refused to sail. So they were at an impasse for about 6 months, where they waited it out in Venice, and the crusade was growing cold during that time. Eventually, they came to an agreement, and the Venetians agreed to set sail, take them on their route, but they would have to share in half of the spoils, and the Crusaders would have to pay them out of those spoils. So eventually they set sail, but then they started for Zara, which was a Christian city under the control at that time of Hungary, and they laid waste to it, took the city, took the spoils of the city, which made Pope Innocent apparently very angry at that decision. From there, they sailed on to Constantinople, where they were going to place Alexis II, the rightful heir to the throne, which had been ousted in a coup, replace him on the throne, thereby theoretically reuniting the East and West churches. It didn't go as planned. They did reseat him on the throne after a number of battles, and then intrigue inside the Greeks inside of Constantinople ended up with Alexis being murdered and usurper to the throne, taking the throne, and the Crusaders at that point in time then started another war against the Greeks, in which they eventually toppled the imposter emperor, if you will, and set up Baldwin as the new emperor, making it a Latin see. Basically, though, my thesis for this is that it wasn't actually an east-west in-out accident argument, but instead an inevitable result of many long-held contentions between the two sides of the empire. Basically, the first one was cultural. When Constantine established the empire there at Constantinople in 324, he transitioned the power from the Latins, the Romans, to the Greeks. And there was a major cultural difference between the two, which never resolved itself and was a problem clear into the Fourth Crusade. Another thing was the religious aspect of it. Innocent wanted to unify the churches, combine the empire, basically gain more power to the the papacy. There's also a long-held contention between the Latins and the Byzantines from the previous Crusades, where they didn't get the help that they thought that they needed, and then also just contention, different battles, wars, etc. And finally, the Venetians had a long-held history of contention and conflict with the Byzantines. Whereas the Byzantines owed a lot of money, there was merchant problems, etc. All these things coalesced together, where in a big picture view, it was in the fall or the diversion of the Crusade to Constantinople and the fall of Constantinople was inevitable.